Just a day after we commemorated World Heart Day, we're discussing an issue that relates to the hearts. The issue affects the hearts in its physical and figurative sense. Broken hearts. This is a term used to describe what individuals go through when they dissolve a romantic relationship. For many, the struggle is how to deal with heartbreak in a way that will not negatively affect their dreams, health, and subsequent relationships. Obviously, not all heartbreaks are the same. While it may look some people just come out of a heartbreak clean and simple. Others have a tough time dealing with it. It's going to be an interesting conversation, and I love it when you share your experiences with us. So please do share on 0560 800,000. That's my WhatsApp number. And we're getting some responses on Facebook as well. We're going to be sharing all of those experiences, and then hopefully we get to activate the phone lines as well for you to give us a call on 0302 211 69102. Let me say hello to Mr. Amos Kevin Annan. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Should I welcome you back?
I've been back since Monday.
Yeah, so. But I'm here on Friday.
Yeah,
so.
It's true. And I missed your birthday.
Oh,
so happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a joy to always recall that God is adding life to your years.
Yeah.
And
I'm happy to be sharing September with you.
Hey,
yeah,
and my
24.
daughters are also September. Yay. Yesterday was my older daughter's birthday.
Oh, that's nice.
She's
so
29.
We're family.
She's 29th, and the younger one is 12.
Okay, and I am 24.
But my wife is July, American Independence Day, so she's the odd one amongst the but she's the good one who keeps us all in check and together.
Yeah, that's all good. I know that on your birthday each year you give something back. We'll come and talk about what you're giving back this year, or if maybe for once you're holding back and allowing people to give you. But we're talking about heartbreaks.
Heartbreaks.
And I'm asking people to share experiences. Have you experienced it before?
No.
Oh.
My wife is my first date, and my wife.
Good for you. Good for you.
Well, it was deliberate because I purposed in my heart that the woman that I decide to become a friend with will be the one that would be my wife.
Okay, so nobody has bounced you before?
No. I mean, no, not at all. I mean, yeah, mine.
Okay, so why is it such a difficult thing? I mean, if somebody doesn't like you any longer and they want to move on, why can't you also move on?
You see, the description that is used, heartbreak, connotes the person's essence, your being. It is said that guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. So things that actually make life emanate from your heart, and that is your inmost being. Now, when a person says, I have been heartbroken, it means that there is dissonance in their life. Now, that dissonance comes from an attachment, a trust, some camaraderie, the French would say friendship, that people would have built over a period of time, that now is no more. And the shock of it can derail a person in the way they see life. It's even more fatal when the people have told each other, you are my world, I am your world. So that means that that person who now no longer is in your life as your world lives, your whole world evaporates. So you can imagine a lady who has told a gentleman, you are my world, or a gentleman who has told a lady, you are my world, and then the person leaves your world. I have no world to live for. It is easy for such a person to go into a cliffhanger condition and tumble over into either suicide or some heinous crime. So that's why it is difficult for individuals to get over this. There's a need for them to understand that there is life before relationship. So I always tell those who are not in relationships, don't substitute relationship for life. You must first have life, and when you have life, you think of relationship, because the two are not the same.
So all these things that you describe when you're heartbroken, is it in your mind?
It's at two levels. Oftentimes it's cognitive, it's psychological. It's in your brain. Your brain is sending signals. Your emotions are also responding. So it's at the brain level and it's at the emotions level. For women, it's even more devastating because you tend to be heavily emotionally driven, intuitive. Now, so if there's a compromise in how you feel about yourself, how you are corresponding that with how you are thinking, and more often than not, you see many ladies go into a relationship and their heart is what is in there, deep. And it's all their emotions and everything. But not so with men. See, that's where the difference comes. The men come in, it is said that they come with their head first. Now, when they come with their head, you now have to warm them up so that they believe so strongly that they can bring their heart into the relationship. Otherwise, a guy could walk with you as long as 10, 15 years and his heart may not even be in there. And that's possible for males. Not so with women. A woman who decides to go that route would have chosen deliberately to go that trajectory. So there's a need for both males and females to be particularly careful with this. I'm just looking at a newspaper that says more moms go crazy.
Yeah.
And the crazy is in quotes. Why is it so? Because psychological trauma. You go to the psychiatric care, you see more women there as a result of a fallout of a relationship than men. Why is it so? Because they go all out. Then something happens. Now they need to now think about what they have done wrong, what they're going through. Either they find justification for what is happening, they find an excuse for what is happening, or they blame themselves for what is happening.
So how do you heal? I mean, how do you come back to yourself?
More often than not, you notice that people go into the first state of denial. Oh, this can't be true. I'm not seeing right. I mean, he's just pulling a prank on me, or she's pulling a prank on me. And that state of denial in itself does not help you to overcome it. And so you move from the state of denial, and then you get into a state where you are in anger. There's a rage storm inside you. You're fuming. Either fuming with yourself or fuming about the things that may have happened, the extent to which you may have gone in the relationship. Or you are angry because you think that they have violated you. They have just deceived used you and dumped you, as it's said. So people get into the state of anger and now they begin to bargain. What if I change this? Maybe he will call back. Maybe she will call back. What if I spoke to his friend or her friend? Maybe if I did this. So you're beginning to look for some negotiation around the issue. If you do that, then you are not going to get healed. Because when you bargain around it and you realize you are getting frustrated, what happens then is that you pull away then.
So before you even continue, should you attempt to restore, to make normal again before you give up? And
many things will go into that determination. Let's say it's recurring infidelity. Recurring infidelity. It breaks your heart to discover that. Oftentimes people think heartbreak is just a state where the lady or the guy leaves you for another. No, not necessarily that. It's wider than that. Because when trust is violated, people can be heartbroken. Because they're shocked that this fellow, nice as they were, promised as they had, could violate trust so terribly. And so that could also lead to that. So depending on the circumstance, then you prescribe solutions or interventions.
Okay.
If you give it a one-size-fit-all, it won't work. So let's take it, for instance, you discovered something that broke your heart, that caused you pain. The question is, what you discovered, has it got long-term implications, or it is just for the now? If it's for the now, it's easy to let go. But if it has consequences, for instance, you discovered that the person you're going to get married to has a child and never told you, and you discovered just the next day before the solemnization, that could break your heart, rip you apart, and set you on a journey of thinking that can be very harrowing. So such a thing, the question is, would you want to go ahead with the marriage? Some will gather the courage and go on and deal with it later. Others will say, I can't stand it. Okay, you'll be married with your husband or wife for a number of years, and all of a sudden you discover that he has a child who is 10 years older, and you didn't know. You only discover it after marriage. And he was not the one to do the disclosures. Somebody confided in you, and then you confronted them. And they may have denied it 2 or 3 times. And then eventually, they come back and ask you, who told you? They are looking for who told you rather than taking responsibility for what you're asking. Now, such a situation, are you able to show grace and goodwill to accommodate the child, even though they're 10 years old? So there are different permutations. What about a friend you're working with who stabbed you in the back by going out with the guy you are dating, knowing very well that you're dating and you're almost close to the point of marriage, and then she starts hanging out with this guy, and then you discover some messages that they actually compromise in a state of having sex? There's a heartbreak at 2 levels. At the level of whoever you are in a relationship with, and the person you're working with, who's your work colleague. So straight away in the workplace, there's going to be an environment of hostility generated because this person is a betrayal. So being betrayed in that sense, you're not going to have a very cordial relationship with them. So work targets can be compromised if you're on the same schedule. So you can see that there are different responses that will come when people are in different scenarios.
So I'm activating the lines now because we want you to share your experiences, particularly because you said that the solution is not like one for everybody. But there are people who also would want to, I don't want to say pretend, but you are not healed though, but you're thinking maybe you are. Are there certain cues, something to remind you that you haven't gotten over this? You have to really work at it and finish it.
There will be some things. I mean, there would always be memories. Memories die very hard. They don't go easily. Even just the mention of the person's name or seeing somebody on television who looks like them can send your memories running riot. So there's a need for you to pay attention to the fact that memories are real. Now, when it is that your memory takes you to those places, what is it that you're going to do? There'll be times that you pick your phone and you feel like, can I send him a message to check on them? Which is a very easy automated brain activity for today. We are quick to pick our phones, we are quick to pick our gadgets to check who is looking. And sometimes you're there, you go to the Facebook to see what they're doing. Check the social media handles to look at. I'm not interested, I just want to know what's happening to them. Clearly, it shows that there's a certain fondness or attachment that exists. And you can't pretend it doesn't exist. You're better off facing it.
Yeah, but that's not entirely like a bad thing. If you can handle it.
Well, for many people, it's not so much that they can handle it as it is that they are trying to find consolation.
Okay, so I want to see the girl that he's dating.
Yeah.
And if I think I am nicer than the girl, then yeah.
And I go like, whoa. After all, is that what you went for? Is that all you could get? Then you begin to battle with yourself. So you notice that in the Western world, a lot of the people get stalked. Stalking is very common because they trail you and try to find out what you're doing. If it was a matrimonial setting that has gone through this heartbreak situation, it's even more devastating when there are children. Because the memories will never go because the children become the point of constant reminders where you have to remit. The channel through whom the remittance must go. And it's even more acute when one child resembles the other party. Anytime you look at the child, if you're not careful, you rain insults and take your battle to the child. I read something that happened in one of the states in the U.S. where a woman picked quarrel with one of the children of her estranged husband, who looked more like her father, and this is a daughter, and talks like the father. And anytime this girl did something terrible, the venom with which the woman attended to her, and then he got into fisticuffs between herself and her daughter, who was like 17 years. And one day, just one day, this woman killed all 4 children of hers. She picked a quarrel with this girl. The other child was trying to mediate and intervene. And then she went and pulled her shotgun, shot the older one, shot the young one. The other 2 were running away. She shot all 2 of them. And in one day, killed 4 children because there's anger in her that she hasn't dealt with. And the thing with anger is that if you don't deal with your anger and your shame and your disappointment, they come in a different form that usually the consequences are dire.
Let me just announce the numbers to call. 0302-211-6910. 0302-211-6910. You can call us and share. Here are some being shared on WhatsApp. And this one says, when I had mine, first thing that came to mind was revenge, anger, and hatred towards all ladies, with the mindset that all ladies have same attitude. But, you know, you said with time, everything became normal. Thanks to God for that. Thanks for sharing yours with us. This one says my part on, oh, this is pretty long. My part on how to deal with a broken heart. Be careful. Don't date destructive people to begin with. Allow yourself to be human and feel the pain. Immediately take your broken heart to God. Take heart, you won't die. Also, don't overreact and embarrass yourself. Talk to someone who cares and give yourself time to heal. Learn lessons from the experience. Overanalyze. Don't go into rebound dating and let go of is it memories you're saying? Keep yourself busy by giving to others. Get into exercise or eating right. It's mostly about you, not your ex. Move on. Lacasmox in Tamale. This is long but very important that I shared. Really appreciate your thoughts right there. This one says, no, let me go back here. Okay, this is Jacob. Says, heartbreak is the way you take it. For me, I will not be brokenhearted. So there are some people who simply, are they pretending they are not feeling it?
Not necessarily so. You have to look at people and their personality types.
Okay.
You see, if you have a person who is very relational in their personality wiring, as in, say, they are sanguine, or they are phlegmatic, or melancholy, these introverts, relationship hurts them a lot. But for a choleric who's not naturally disposed to relationships, they are more project activity driven, it may not hit them that hard if it is that it occurs to them, because for them they could do without you.
Okay.
They could do without you.
We'll come and continue on that. Let me speak to Ken, who's joining us from Tamale. Hello, Ken. Good morning. Hello, Ken.
Yeah, good morning.
Ken, thanks for calling us.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, yes, I can hear you better now. Good morning and thank you for calling. Let's hear you. Ken,
Yes, what I wanted to talk about is not really, yes, it's not that I'm sharing a problem, but just to contribute to the program.
Sure, please do.
Yes. I think Mr. Annan is a very learned man, and I agree with his solution. His explanations. One kind of coping measure I can also share with the public is that sometimes with these heartbreaks, the earlier you think of it that you have made a loss and not ponder or worry over the loss, it's just to cut it short and think that you have to make a very quick recovery. I think that is always better than thinking about what you have lost.
Okay.
It's better you start thinking about that you have lost something and there's a need to fill up the lost time.
Okay, cool. I get you. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best coping measures.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Ken, thank you very much for your thoughts on this. You can also give us a call if you have something to say on this subject. 0302-211-69102. Okay, so you're talking about the different temperaments.
Yeah, the different temperaments play a role in people. It is also about life experiences and lessons gathered over the years of an individual. If a person has witnessed people who have gone through such situations, it is easy for them to recover if they saw those individuals recovering, because it's an experiential learning model. Now, if you haven't experienced it before at all and haven't heard anybody go through it, when you're going through, it's a nightmare. Sometimes you may not even recognize that is what you're going through. You withdraw, you recoil, you don't eat, you are not talking if you were the talking type. You're avoiding people, especially if it's a female who did this to you. You now begin to stereotype females. Like he rightly said, avoid thinking that all males or females are like that. People are unique and distinct and individuals, and you relate with them on that premise. Of course, you also be mindful that people can change. So there's a need for people to get into that situation where they don't stereotype others. Otherwise, then you can't move on in this life.
Sure. Let's speak to Angela. Do I still have Angela? Okay, Augustus first from Cape Coast. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Thanks for calling.
Yes,
let's hear you.
Augustus. I'm Augustus calling from Cape Coast.
Sure.
Yes, I think that sometimes those of us who have hurt the other party, our attitude also helps in the healing process. Sometimes after disappointing them or breaking their heart, we tend to mock them, try to ridicule them, make statements that will tend to demean them. But if we tend to console them and realize that we have caused that pain to them, and that even if we can't help them heal themselves, we keep quiet for them not to hear anything bad about them. But sometimes in our actions, we try to make everybody put the blame on them, and these are some of the things that causes those things that the counselor is talking about.
Sure.
People going to the extreme of taking other people's lives because they've been accused of everything, that they are the cause of the breakup. So sometimes those of us involved, like family, we should also help. When such things happen, we need the support of people around us to be able to stand. When those people also turn against us, accuse us of mistakes we've made, it deepens our wounds, and that we think of life as not worth living anymore because this other person has left our lives. So I feel that those of us around, or even those who have caused the pain, we should also be charitable to those that we've hurt and then be kind to them.
And that's very important.
I think would also help in the healing process.
All right. Augustus, this is really important. Thank you.
Day.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to Angela, who's joining us from Nkrofo. Angela, thanks for holding. Let's hear you.
Hello, Mama B. Good morning. I hope you are doing good.
I am. Fantastic, by God's grace. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Okay. Angie, you have to turn down the volume on that television for me so we avoid the feedback. So one of my colleagues, Safia Mutala, had a sit down with some people. We'll bring you that conversation.
I talked with you about emotional problem and you promised to call me, but you didn't. I called severally to get your number, but they didn't give the number to me. Please,
okay,
can I get in contact?
Since we are in celebration mode, I'll put the number out afterwards.
Okay, so you're going to put the number out after.
Yes,
but
afterwards.
Angela, apologies for your experience. I think what we said that day was you have to call after a certain time, because that was a very busy day for you. But Angela, apologies. We're going to put the number out after this. But you can also leave your number. Please leave your number with our producers. Okay, thanks for calling. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. My colleague Safia had a sit-down conversation with a few people. We want to listen in on that, watch it, and come back.
Like, it has to do with relationship issues. I mean, there has been a lot. I've been hurt so many times, but then I realized that the more it's inside me, the more I get hurt, the more my heart keeps bleeding. And so letting go of everything, I think, has really helped me today.
been heartbroken?
This is a very tough question. Well, I have to say the truth. I have not been heartbroken before.
And I think he's saying that because he's a man. You see, when you throw that question to a man, he will tell you, no, I've not been heartbroken before. Okay. Because they are the ones that break our hearts with the ladies.
Is that so?
That's so. Trust me, when a woman said she's heartbroken, it's in so many ways. Not just you leaving her, but you are doing things that is not pleasing to her. It's heartbreaking. Because in a relationship, you first have to think of the person you are with. Whatever I'm doing, would it please the person? Whatever the person is, would it please me? But sometimes they may tend to please themselves than with the women. Okay. So I think...
Interestingly, I would say that women love attention. And I also know that very well. But the truth is that I have not been broken-hearted before, even though I have been in several relationships where, it couldn't work. But I would not term that as heartbreak. Perhaps maybe the women will probably do that, but I would not term it as a heartbreak.
Have you?
I'm a man, so I tend to take things, like I said initially, I'm not too emotional. Yeah, I like to take things one at a time. So it doesn't make that heartbreak.
Let me ask my lady, have you ever gone through any heartbreak?
Well, heartbreaks. Heartbreaks. Well, yes. I just had to let go everything. Like initially when it happened, I felt so down. I was so down because I put everything inside the relationship. I did my best, but then it turned out to be a different thing altogether. So then what I did was I just had to delete the person's number. Like I just cut links. Yeah, because if I don't do that, and then initially what I used to do was I'll always check his DPs and then his statuses. Yes, that's what I used to do. But then
you know that it is always the women who have heartbreaks. Because men are, let me say, hard, so to speak. Yeah. So they tend not to pay attention to certain things. But it doesn't make that feel like men are always not heartbroken. They may suffer some kind of heart injury, but it definitely will not be a heart break. You understand?
And also, I learned something recently that I think have helped me a lot when it comes to heartbreak. I learned that if you are heartbreaking or if you're going to a situation like heartbreak, the first question you ask yourself is, what happened? What didn't I get well? That's why this heartbreak brought about.
You always blame yourself.
Yes. You have to first understand the meaning of the heartbreak before you can be able to solve it and move on. People say that I've gone through heartbreak several times. I've been with 5 men and they've disappointed me in heartbreak. No. You ask yourself, what wasn't I doing right before the men were able to break my heart, as we say it? So you first have to correct the mistake. Okay. I used to complain a lot. I whine a lot. And women, men don't like ladies that nag a lot. So I nag a lot. Okay, then why don't I lower the rate at which I nag and see if I could go far with someone in a relationship?
I think what she said. You should also ask, why is it always the women? Okay, because she just mentioned that she does some kind of introspection, into why her relationship does not really go on. But you see, guys also...
But it's not the case of women alone. Men also go through it. Perhaps you haven't gone through it.
Yes, I haven't, but I think I have a couple of experiences, because I have friends who have gone through several...
And how were they able to take care of that?
When a man is heartbroken, it's a very serious matter. Yes. Sometimes it's more than how the women feel. Sometimes they even go to the extent of hating other women, for not for his relationship not working.
What you say you have experience with the guy friend before, because of what the lady did to him, what he did was he started, then every lady I'll see, I'll just propose to them and propose to any lady I won't fall in love, but propose to them and just be with them and just have my way with them. That was what it was treating his heartbreak, and it was really serious.
very sensitive, exciting, but it always, end up in this kind of, should I use the word quagma? So
Interesting comments and interesting discussions we are having here. But immediately you're having fun. You just have to realize that time is not on our side, and this is how we end it here on the campus of the Accra Polytechnic. To me here, Accra Technical University. My name is Safia Murtala.
Okay, so thank you, Safia, and the beautiful ladies and the gentleman. The lady who's been checking the DPs. If you check, you have to keep breaking. Okay, but thanks. That was really good. All right. So, what's the final thing that you say?
Well, I would suggest to people who have or are going through this state of shock, anger, denial, state of acceptance or withdrawal, to first and foremost understand that when things happen, they are real. They are not imaginary. So come to the real world. The real world is filled up with ups and downs. Today may be downside for you, but certainly there will be an upside. Next, don't pretend that you are okay when you know things are not okay. Don't pretend. Living in pretense will not be a good route to take. Don't also develop hatred, either for yourself or for the other party. If you develop animosity in you, those negative hormones are not going to be helpful for your cause. Also, don't ruminate. You see, the four-chambered stomach animals, they graze very hurriedly, they lie and they ruminate. They bring those things out through antiperistaltic movements, and then they chew it back again slowly for absorption. There are individuals who brood over what could have been rather than what has happened. Avoid going to what could have been, because that's too futuristic. It's no longer a reality. The reality is now there's some dissolution. And finally, don't blame yourself nor find